Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. So obviously, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know, throughout the spring split, we made a lot of videos tracking Rekkles and K-Corp's journey through the LFL, into the LFL playoffs, into the EU Masters play-in, and then ultimately all the way to their third straight EU Masters title. And it was really fun. The videos did well. I really enjoyed it. It seemed like you guys enjoyed it too. Obviously, Rekkles is an insanely popular player. K-Corp is an insanely popular team, and the LFL isn't something that a lot of people tune into live. It's not something that a lot of people get to watch or even know like when it's on or how to watch the games or anything like that. So I think my video series, following them was a cool way for a lot of people, Rekkles fans or just League of Legends fans in general, to still be able to check in with how Rekkles is doing and how things have been going. And we're going to be doing that once again in the summer split, and hopefully these videos keep doing well. I think it's just a ton of fun to make them anyway, because Rekkles is one of my favorite players, and it's been a crazy journey that he's had through the LFL, and I think it'll be really cool to track that journey all the way back to hopefully making it back to the LEC one day. In the last video, we talked about some things that were going on with K-Corp leading into the season. We talked about previewing some of their first matchups, and we can check in with that once again. I wanted to look at the LFL spring split standings, because in week 1, K-Corp was taking on Team Oplon and Game Ward. So the interesting thing to know here is obviously that K-Corp in the regular season, they finished second with a record of 12-6. They were tied with Team BDS, so maybe second, maybe third, whatever. And then in the playoffs, I don't know if we have the playoffs pulled up here. We can go to the playoffs real quick, but they didn't win the LFL spring playoffs either. So they finished second in the regular season, and then they actually finished third in the playoffs. So despite the fact that K-Corp ultimately went to EU Masters, ended up winning the title, and proved that they were the best team in all of the European regional leagues, they never proved that they were the best team in the LFL in the regular season or in the playoffs. So now seems like they've probably figured some things out, especially coming off that EU Masters title. Now this is going to be their chance to really come back and cement themselves as the best, the dominant team in the LFL. And again, they were going to get to start by having a pretty weak schedule to start the LFL season, getting to play against Oplon and Game Ward. I think I have the videos fast forward to the end, so I want to make sure we don't give any spoilers real quick. But that first game of the season was going to be against Oplon, so I wanted to kind of click through these games real quick, and I did have it sped forward to the beginning because I already watched these games and stuff. So in game 1 of the season, of the summer season for K-Corp, I guess we can take a look at their draft real quick. Obviously, that is a big thing to note for all of these teams in the LCS, LEC, and European regional leagues coming into the new season, is that hey, we just had the durability patch drop. The meta is going to be way different. Overall, the game is going to be way different. So that could have a real effect. It could have a real impact on a lot of players and teams that were good in the spring. Are they still going to be good in the summer? Are they going to be able to adapt? Is this new play style, the new patch, the new meta fit them better, worse? Who knows? We could see a lot of big shakeups into the summer split from spring, which usually you see in like preseason patches, but instead Riot decided to do it in the middle of the season this year, which I don't think is the best way to do it, but whatever. K-Corp in their first game going up with Olaf in the top lane, definitely a new face, but this is a very, very busted champion right now. And the Oplon with a pretty standard draft, seems like something we would have seen in the spring split as well. This is GP, Volibear, Victor, Kai'Sa, and Rakan. Nothing too crazy. Interesting to note that they do have Schernfire on their team as their jungler. I think this guy played with Team Liquid before. Other than that, not really anyone too notable for Team Oplon, I don't think. And then obviously we have Rekkles here on the Ezreal. And this game would not have much to do with Rekkles, for better or for worse. We do have an early team fight around Raptors pretty early on in the game. Obviously, 1-1-3 going for a little invade here, and Schernfire and the gang with the Rakan roaming up were ready to defend this, and defend it they did by picking up the first blood on a Hantera. So, Oplon off to a strong start in this game, but KC was obviously not done with this skirmish here. Seiken is able to pick up a kill, and then 1-1-3 going for a little bit more, picks up the kill onto the Rakan. So even though K-Corp gives up first blood in their very first play of the season, they're able to still make it a 2-for-1. 1-1-3 is able to get out with the Rakan dash there. So a strong start to the game for K-Corp. A little bit later in the game, Cabochard starting to, do some little trading and stuff up in the top lane. Very, very volatile matchup. Obviously, Olaf looking to get stuff done in the early game. Schernfire goes for a gank, and 1 113 is there to counter it and make him pay. 113 just in the right places at the right time so far to start this game. They are able to see if they can get another kill here. Saken with a nice roam. They're able to pick up the kill onto the gangplank as well. A 4-1 start, 0-2 for Schernfire to start the game. And again, Rekkles hasn't really done anything yet. We see him with like a 5 CS lead in the bot lane. And then just a little bit later, Schernfire getting caught in between his towers. You know, nowhere is safe when you start to fall behind 2,500 gold just 8 minutes into the game. K-Corp doing a crazy job having everybody up here at 8 minutes. The fact that Hantera's up here, 113's already been top multiple times. Schernfire's going to die again. And I mean, at this point, the game's pretty much over. It's 8 minutes into the game, not even 9 full minutes into the game yet. K-Corp already has a 3,000 gold lead. Schernfire's already 0-3. I mean, Oplan's pretty much playing this game 4v5 at this point, and your top laner 0-2 as well, down 30 CS. I mean, this game was over, and it absolutely was. K-Corp would end up, finishing this game with a stomp, which was a great way to start the season. Let me see if I can pull up the stats for this game real quick. We do have it here where Rekkles would finish with a score of 7-1 on the Ezreal, Saken going 5-0, 113 with a 2-1-11 on Viego, and Cabochard with an 8-1-3 on Olaf start the year. Again, just a really, really good start for K-Corp. They ended up winning the game by 15,000 gold. Oplan was one of the worst teams in the league in the spring. They're expected to be, I guess, one of the worst teams again, so this was not too surprising. But the next game, this one would be, kind of the much bigger task of the two. Still, Game Ward was not supposed to be that great of a team. They do, if we look at this, actually have probably the best player that we've seen out of either of these games so far, with Rekkles in the mid lane, Inax being the AD carry as well. So Game Ward definitely at least has a little bit more firepower, and you can see here, Game Ward won their first game. So this was two 1-0 teams taking on each other. Cabochard pulling out the Darius, probably the spiciest pick we've seen here. Other than that, nothing too crazy, everything pretty standard. Lucian Nami, really strong bot lane for Game Ward. And we'll see how this goes. See if K-Corp could make this a 2-0 week to start the LFL regular season. Starting this one in the bot lane, Rekkles getting caught out a little bit there. That does kind of suck that Rekkles dies with the flash. Obviously, he gets very, very caught off guard by just how much damage the Lucian and Nami bot lane did, and that's crazy that Lucian and Nami are able to pick up a kill without blowing any summoners. As you can see, Hantera already doesn't have his flash. Rekkles didn't have his heal there, and again, Rekkles just not respecting the damage, and dying 2v1 there is actually really, really bad. So that is not a great play by Rekkles, and obviously props to Game Ward for punishing him accordingly. So maybe this game's going to be a little bit more difficult. GW already putting up a bigger fight than OPL did in the last matchup. And this Lucian Nami lane, we know that this is nothing to mess with at all. But now 113 getting invaded on the top side. He does smite to stay alive off the red buff there. He's able to flash over the wall, just a little bit of health. And the Wukong decides to chase him under his tower. And a really, really weird bad death by the Wukong, tanking 3 tower shots, not being able to reach 113. But hey, K-Corp will take it. You can only, get what the enemies give to you. So they're able to, tie up the score 1-1 there. But this is when Rekkles decided he was decided that he was going to start taking over at this dragon fight 15 minutes into the game. K-Corp is up 1 dragon to 0. And Rekkles completely takes Rekkles out of the fight before it even starts by landing the really nice Q onto Rekkles from very, very far away. This would obviously give, Game Ward a little bit of priority on to this dragon. Rekkles with a little bit of health, trying to find a way back into this fight. He ends up having to E away. So now, he really has nothing left at this point, just throwing Qs from over the wall. And K-Corp would lose the dragon, and they would just have Cabochard go down there. Obviously not great for the Darius to be, dying like that without really getting anything done in the early game. 113 decides to jump over the wall there, and he is instantly punished by Rekkles. I really don't understand kind of what 113 was going for there, and now Rekkles just off to a crazy start. I believe he's 2-0 on the Zoe now, and obviously Rekkles is one of the better mid laners in the ERLs. This is a guy who's seen time in the LEC, and some people think is even an LEC level mid laner at this point. Hantera getting caught out a little bit there, but he's able to get away as Rakan has like a million dashes, a million abilities, but it ends up getting Rekkles caught out instead. And Rekkles picks up another kill there. Now he is 2-0-1 on the Zoe, proven to be a real problem, and he's only getting stronger and stronger. K-Corp only down like 1,500 gold 17 minutes into this game, but again, this game was looking very, very much so tougher than the last one, and K-Corp was going to have to come back if they wanted to win this one. Rekkles just really putting in the work. Just another pick off to Hantera. And again, K-Corp dying with sums up. Pantera has flashed there. I don't know if he could have flashed or not, but it does seem kind of weird how often they were dying with sums up in a lot of these spots. It not really something you see too much of at like the highest level of play and stuff. This is a really, really weird play by 113. He probably deserved to die there, and then Cabochard just goes in 1v4. He gets punished. Like, yes, Game Ward is making good plays, but K-Corp is just not on the same page at all. 113 kind of ints. He barely stays alive, and then Cabochard's like, oh, you barely stayed alive? Well, here, I'll go give him the kill instead. And now K-Corp is down like 4,000 gold at 20 minutes. The game's looking really, really rough. They just have so much playmaking potential with the different champions like Wukong and Zoe. They have the really, really strong bot lane, and they were just punishing K-Corp over and over and over again. Jekolad just popping off on the Zoe, landing so many skill shots, and also being so fed that, it's easy to kind of start popping off. They're now up 4,000 gold, 22 minutes into the game. K-Corp would try to put up a little bit of a fight here. They actually get the shutdown onto Jekolad here, which is huge. I don't know how much gold that shutdown was for, and obviously Seiken ends up dying for it. One thing to note in this whole game is that even though Jekolad was so fed and he was popping off and he was carrying, if we get a chance to look at the CS numbers in a second, you'll see here Seiken's up 70 CS. Zoe is 4-1 and only has 7 more CS than his Scion. This is, I think, pretty concerning for me. Obviously Jekolad is a guy who I'm sure wants to make it back to the LEC. If you are this fed on a champion like Zoe, who shouldn't have too much of an issue farming, obviously you're maybe a little bit susceptible in the side lanes, you don't have as much options and stuff like that, but you should not be down 70 CS when you're carrying this game. I don't know just from watching these highlights if it was a Jekolad problem, if it's a team macro problem, if it's how they're divvying up the waves or how they're setting up the waves or whatever, but that's not a great sign, and that's really going to, especially in closer games or games where the other team maybe puts up a little bit more of a fight, that's going to be a deal breaker, especially, again, like I said, if you want to make it to the LEC mid laners, those are guys like Perks. He always has insane CS, even when he's not super fed, even when he's not 4-1. Definitely something that Jekolad and Game Ward need to keep an eye on. Just the first weekend of the series, of the season, so obviously a lot of teams are still rusty and trying to figure things out, but, for how much Jekolad was popping off in this game, he's got to get those CS numbers up. And then we see here 27 minutes into the game, K-Corp kind of keeping it close, honestly. They're only down 3,000, which only 3,000, but the score is 9-3, and they've kind of been getting stomped around. They've kind of been trolling. Jekolad goes a little bit too aggressive there. He does get a nice chunk on the 113, but he obviously pays for it. K-Corp trying to put up a fight, trying to mount a comeback, but GW is on soul point, so it is not going to be easy. They're going to need, more than just a single pick onto the Zoe. Here, they kind of get caught out here in the bot lane. They're all so low already. A really, really nice Wukong ult. The Nami ult comes through kind of the entire team. Wukong picks up a kill onto 113. So many stopwatches and stuff going on. Rekkles shoots his ult from the top lane, but this would not end well for K-Corp. Obviously, it didn't start well, and it didn't end well. Pick up a bunch of kills there. That kind of just really removes any possibility of K-Corp coming back into the game after they get a pick. They just overextend. Cabo's 1-4. 113 is 1-3. Really not too much positive going for them here. Again, other than Seiken being up 80 CS, Rekkles being up 40 CS, and even Cabochard being up 30 CS, but that's about it. That's about as far as the good news goes. Jekolad gets caught out here, but he has the stopwatch, and the stopwatch would give his team enough time. Rekkles flashes into the wall there, can't complete the kill, eventually kills Jekolad, but not before Inax can pick up a quadra kill, and that would pretty much be the game at that point. Rekkles not able to kill Inax there as he is kind of chasing him away, kiting him out, and we can see at the end of this one, Game Ward would pick up the win with a 0-0-16 Nami game. Jekolad 4-3-5 at the end of Zoe. He really, he was really strong in the early game, but wasn't really able to carry that lead as much in the mid and late game. But don't worry, Inax, like we saw, picking up the quadra kill to kind of end the game, going 9-0. Really, really nice Wukong game as well. And yeah, K-Corp drops an L to not a super great team. Maybe Game Ward is going to be a really, really good team, but they're not really considered to be one of the top teams. Obviously, you have like BDS, you have LDLC, you have some of these other really, really good teams. Misfits Academy might be pretty solid, or is probably going to be pretty solid again. So yeah, obviously it's not great to be dropping games to Game Award, but it is still just the regular season. Doesn't really matter all that much because what's going to matter way more is playoffs. It's going to matter way more is EU Masters and all that kind of stuff. But so far, Rekkles, he had some sloppy play. He had some mistakes. K-Corp definitely had some sloppy play and sloppy mistakes. And now 2 games into the summer season, they are 1-1. This week they are going to be taking on, I haven't even looked at this yet, Gamers Origin on Wednesday, and then they're going to be taking on Team BDS Academy on Thursday. That will definitely be a very, very good game. And K-Corp's going to have to show up and play their best if they want to get a couple more wins. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about K-Corp's games last week, K-Corp's games coming up this week, how you think they're going to do in the LFL Summer Split. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. I'll catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.